Singer has been around for over a decade now, and they've been making every man's dream car, the Porsche 911. Unlike others though, Singer doesn't just restore cars, it reimagines them entirely. What starts as an aging Porsche 911 becomes a rolling masterpiece, hand-built, obsessively detailed, and engineered to perfection. But what exactly goes into a Singer 911? What makes it so special and so expensive? In today's video, we're going to explore the insane process it takes Singer to restore a 911 and see why these cars are just different. Well, let's get started. There's something special about old cars, the lines, the soul, the connection to a different time, but let's be honest. Driving one can sometimes feel like stepping back into the Stone Age. Well, that's where Restomods come in. Restomod is short for restoration modification, and the idea is simple. You take a classic car, preserve the things that make it iconic, and then inject it with modern day technology, safety, and drivability. But Singer doesn't just Restomod Porsches. They reimagine them. That's their word. And it fits because their process goes far beyond just swapping out parts or updating interiors. It's about turning a vintage Porsche 911 into something that feels like a dream a car designer might have had in the 80s about what their cars would look like in the 2020s.
This car. Funnily enough, these little dials feel like the Bakelite type switches that you got in the original 930 Turbo.
But all of this didn't just start overnight. In 2009, former rock musician Rob Dickinson set out to create the ultimate air-cooled Porsche. But this wasn't just about building a car for himself, it was about chasing a vision. What if the Porsche 911 had kept evolving without losing its classic soul? That question launched Singer Vehicle Design. Right from the start, Singer wasn't trying to be the biggest name in the Porsche world. They just wanted to be the best at what they did. And that mentality changed everything. Their first build turned heads across the automotive world. Not just because it looked incredible, but because of the obsessive detail, the craftsmanship, and the way it honored the past while clearly being something new. Suddenly, Singer didn't just mean a company. It became a standard, a benchmark. If you were talking about resto-modded 911s, the conversation started and usually ended with Singer. And what really sets them apart is their philosophy. Everything is important. That's not just a marketing slogan. It's a mindset. Whether it's the shape of a dashboard vent, the grain of the leather, or the exact note of the exhaust at 5,000 RPM, Singer obsesses over it. That's why collectors and driving purists alike are willing to wait years and spend hundreds of thousands to get one. Because owning a Singer isn't just about having a Porsche. It's about having your perfect Porsche, brought to life by people who care about every molecule of it. At first glance, a Singer restored Porsche 911 might look like a beautifully maintained classic, but spend even 5 minutes with one and you'll realize it's anything but ordinary. The transformation process is one of the most meticulous in the automotive world, and it begins with a car that, frankly, most folks would overlook. A 964 generation 911, built between 1989 and 1994. Singer specifically chooses this generation for a reason. It's old enough to tap into that air-cooled Porsche magic, but modern enough to serve as a solid foundation. From there, the magic begins. The donor car is shipped to Singer's facility where it's completely disassembled, and we're not talking about pulling off a few panels. They strip the car down to the bare metal. Every nut, bolt, and wire is removed, inspected, and either replaced or refinished. The body gets sandblasted and reinforced where needed. Rust, wear, and fatigue are all gone. Once it's back to a clean slate, the transformation starts. Singer replaces nearly every body panel with bespoke carbon fiber pieces. Front fenders, rear quarters, bumpers, hood, and roof, all lightweight, custom shaped, and flawless. Only the original steel doors remain, and that's for side impact protection. But these aren't wild body kits. Singer doesn't do gaudy. Their goal is subtle evolution, sleeker fenders, a tauter stance, and a bit more muscle in the hips, but all staying true to the original 911 silhouette. Even the tiny details are custom. Door handles, light housings, mirrors, everything is designed from scratch to feel both retro and futuristic. The result is a car that looks like it rolled off a Porsche design studio in an alternate timeline. When it comes to the interior, Singer lets customers tailor everything from leather type and color, stitching pattern, and gauge design to the exact shape of the seat bolsters. Do you want woven seat centers, wood dash inlays, or brass switchgear? Done. No questions asked. The craftsmanship is on par with high-end bespoke luxury brands, only this interior is built for drivers. Every control is placed with intention, and every material is selected for both beauty and durability. The pedals are perfectly weighted, the shifter clicks with mechanical precision, and even the climate control knobs feel like something carved from a solid bullet. But it's not just about looks. You get full air conditioning, optional heated seats, Bluetooth audio, and even USB-C charging, discreetly hidden so the vibe stays vintage, while the convenience stays modern. Now for the heart of the beast. Singer offers a few different engine options, but all are built in collaboration with specialists like Ed Pink Racing Engines or Williams Advanced Engineering. We're talking about air-cooled, naturally aspirated, or turbocharged flat-six engines that have been completely rebuilt from the crankshaft up. One of the most popular choices is a 4.0-liter naturally aspirated flat-six engine that churns out around 390 horsepower. The throttle response is razor sharp, the power band is smooth and linear, and the sound? It's pure symphony. It wails, snarls, and sings all the way to the red line. For those who want even more, Singer's Turbo Study takes it further. They offer twin turbocharged 3.8-liter flat-six engines producing up to 510 horsepower with all-wheel drive and a custom-tuned suspension setup. Yet it still looks and feels like an air-cooled classic, just one that can eat modern supercars for lunch. Transmissions are all manual, either a 5-speed or 6-speed depending on the build, and you can choose rear-wheel drive for the purest experience or all-wheel drive for all-weather confidence. Underneath the car, Singer completely rebuilt the suspension with modern dampers, custom geometry, and fine-tuned bushings. Braking is handled by beefy carbon ceramic or high-performance steel setups depending on customer spec, and the chassis gets reinforced to handle the upgraded power and performance. Everything works together to create a driving experience that feels alive and different from every other car out there. With so much engineering and precision, getting your hands on one of these cars is pretty difficult. Building a Singer 911 is a years-long journey, and that's part of what makes them so desirable. Every car is built by hand to the exact wishes of the owner, and that level of detail simply can't be rushed. Right now, the typical lead time for a Singer restoration is about 2 to 3 years. That includes everything from the initial consultation and design process to the moment the car is finally delivered, and yes, there's a wait list, a long one. Singer has become something of a holy grail in the collector world, and demand has exploded since the company first made waves in the early 2010s. But why so long? Well, it's because Singer doesn't just restore cars. They build each one like a commissioned piece of art, and only a limited number are completed each year. You don't just buy a Singer, you're invited into a process. There are phone calls, renderings, fabric samples, test drives, tuning sessions. It's an ongoing dialogue between the team and the customer. You're not buying something off the shelf, you're building your dream 911 down to the millimeter. But waiting isn't the only thing you have to do to get one of these cars. You also need a lot of money. Let's not sugarcoat it, Singer 911s are outrageously expensive. But when you see the process, the craftsmanship, and the level of obsession poured into each car, it starts to make sense. So how much are we talking? Well, the starting price for a Singer restoration is typically north of $700,000. And that's before you start ticking the option boxes. Custom interiors, upgraded engine packages, one-off paint jobs, carbon ceramic brakes, active suspension, add it all up, and some builds easily push past $1.2 million. That's supercar money. Hell, that's hypercar money. But here's the thing. A Singer isn't just a performance machine. It's a work of art. It's tailored to you and no two are the same. There's an emotional connection that goes way beyond stats or price tags. Plus, they hold their value remarkably well. Some Singer 911s have resold at auction for well over $1 million, sometimes more than their original build cost, and as production remains tightly limited, demand only grows. For collectors, the price isn't the point. It's about owning something few others ever will. Something with the heart of a vintage Porsche and the soul of a modern masterpiece. My question is, would you want to own a Singer 911 or the original 911 built by Porsche? Let us know in the comment section below, and if you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the car world. Check out our next video on the 1950s Nash Healey. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.